For years, I caught myself saying, I want to read more, or setting New Year's resolutions of reading 12 books only to end the year with 0, maybe 1 if I'm lucky. Genuinely, it is easy to be in the top 1% of readers. You just have to have the right system in place. In this video, I will go through my sloth method, which allows us to still be lazy while hitting all of our reading goals with ease. But Wilson, I don't have time for reading. If we continue with the rest of the strategy, this is a non-issue because we will make it so easy that it's almost harder not to read than it is to read on a daily basis. The average person reads just 5 books a year. To be in the top 1%, we need to read 12 books or more. So let's set the goal to 1 book a month. But how can we go about ensuring that we hit this goal without it becoming another skeleton in our closet of dead New Year's resolutions? The easiest way to build a habit is to leverage habits that you already have existing. Something that you do subconsciously, sort of like brushing your teeth. Think about all the things that you do without thinking. A list for me would be making my bed, brushing my teeth, flossing, taking a morning slash, making my morning smoothie, creating a to-do list, opening my work laptop, scheduling my day, stretching, copywriting, nightly walk, journal. Are there activities on the list that you made that lend themselves pretty nicely to reading? For me, there are 2 that I could identify: scheduling my to-do list and journaling. For me, the one that consistently worked best was journaling, because I always do this in bed right before I go to sleep. So now, after I'm done journaling, I pick up a book which is conveniently placed right next to my journal. If we tack reading onto a habit that we've already developed, eventually it will become weird if we don't read after doing said activity. Don't wait for motivation to start reading. Just do it. Tell yourself, I'm gonna read just this once. We do this all the time for bad habits. I'm gonna eat this just this once. I'm gonna play video games just for 1 game. It works really well for negative habits, but we can also use it for the good ones. Now, if you find that reading is particularly challenging and there's a lot of friction to get you to start reading, try doing it early in the morning. Slam 6 Celsius and get that reading in first thing in the morning. Ideally, do it at the same time every day, at least in the beginning when we're forming this habit, and do it in the same. To really imprint a habit in your mind, you want to do it in a location that is solely dedicated to that habit. A reading nook, per se. I love reading on my couch, and I sit in a specific position that I never sit on the couch in otherwise. Is there a certain chair that you never sit in that would be great for reading? Now, if you don't have anything, try just sitting in a different position on your bed that is solely reserved for reading. Now, if you really don't feel like reading, you can actually use changing your location to make it easier to read. Go outside with a book. Go to a coffee shop with the sole goal being to read. Also, set up the location that you read so that there is a book within arm's reach, so that you're never having to go too far to find that book that you're reading. Now, a superpower to remove any bit of friction that might exist before reading is to set a minuscule daily goal of... This is the most important step that most people overlook: setting a daily reading goal. While we have an overall goal of 12 books a month, to really one book a month, the only way to really become a reader is to do it every day. Set a stupidly small goal. 1 page a day. If that seems like too much, make it a paragraph. Make it even a word. Just opening up a book. Don't try to be a baller and do anything more than 1 page. My daily goal still is 1 page a day. The reason for this is that it tricks our brain into thinking that it's easy. If I set the goal to 10 pages a day, deep down I know that that will take a little while. And most of the time, I just can't be bothered. But if I set the goal where it will only take me a minute or 2, it's almost harder not to do it than it is to just start. Our brains are really dumb. Let's say you want to eat less chips. Simple way to do it is just to take the chips and move them to the back of the cabinet where it's a little bit out of reach. Suddenly you'll find yourself eating it less just because there's a tiny bit of friction added to eating chips. We are lazy creatures. Take advantage of that. Now the key is truly you can quit after reading that 1 page. But it's almost always the case that we will continue on reading because we have broken that initial activation energy. Newton's first law. Just start. Now 1 page a day doesn't have to mean a physical book. This could mean reading 1 page of an audiobook or on a Kindle. Try switching up different methods if you find that you're getting a little stale of physical books that you read. And the way to do this is to have multiple books that you're reading at the same time. Thus, you're never getting bored and stuck on a book that is just not capturing your interest at the moment. And you'll find that once you start to make progress in a book, you will naturally get more motivation. I know once I get halfway through a book, I get super pumped as if part of me didn't believe that I was actually going to be able to get through the book. Now, a hack for ensuring that you read every single day is... Now, if you are just starting the habit of reading, I would highly recommend buying a calendar. Every time you finish a reading session, no matter if it was 1 page or 100 pages, walk over to that calendar and add an X. Probably heard this before, but once you have a string of X's, then your only goal, as Jerry Seinfeld would say, is to not break the chain. Now, if you really are an over-optimizer, you can actually write the number of pages that you read on the calendar itself. Now, make sure to still celebrate every day that you read as a win, but this helps you quantify those days where you went above and beyond and celebrate those a tiny bit more. Now, you can do this by either writing the page numbers that you read or adding a different symbol based on how much you read. For instance, if you read 1 page, add a simple X. If you read 10 pages, add some little squigglies onto the X, and then fully shade it in if you read, let's say, 50 or more pages and you really crushed it. If you are curious about this method and want to learn more about it, check out my most popular video, which is on elastic habits, building habits that bend and not break. Now, when it comes to tracking, I'd also recommend that you track the books that you read through a review. This can be simple 1 to 2 sentences of what you thought or what you took away, quotes that you like, but also include a date that you finished the book so that you can track your reading progress. Once you start reading more, this can be extremely helpful to go back and look at the insights and takeaways from previous books, just to help solidify the ideas that you read about. Finally, a super hack for any habit or goal that you're trying to hit in your life is to have an accountability partner. If you made it this far in the video, I can tell that you are serious about wanting to become a better reader. So I've saved the most important tip for last. The single largest lever that you can pull for hitting goals or building/breaking habits is having someone check in on you, someone that you don't want to disappoint and can hold you to your word. Now, lucky you, I am willing to be that person for free. This is something I've been wanting to do for a while to test my methods of both creating and breaking habits. So if you need an accountability partner, reach out to me at this email. It doesn't have to be to build the habit of reading. It could be for anything. And I'm going to try to tailor the accountability for what works best for you. I'm only going to be taking 10 people on, as this will take a significant amount of my time. And in the future, I'm planning to offer this as a paid service, but I just want to demo it with some folks for free to make sure that I have the method nailed down. So if you're interested, shoot me an email. Now you know the S.L.O.T.H method for how to build the bulletproof habit of reading and quickly take you into the 1% of readers. But what if you don't know what to read? Check out this video for fantastic books to read for people who currently don't like reading. Thanks for watching.